This is the Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, a spoof of sci-fi horror B-movies from the 50s and 60s, directed by John Bello and made back in 1978. As the title suggests, it's a story about a worldwide epidemic of attacks, seemingly out of nowhere, perpetrated by sentient tomatoes. Naturally, the government institutes a cover-up plan, but also brings a team of specialists together to stop the attacks, all of whom are skilled in ways that have nothing to do with the task at hand. Their leader, a man named Mason Dixon, not only has to deal with these goofballs, but also the laziness of his employers, a determined but easily confused reporter, the ongoing cover-up, the ongoing tomato attacks, and a very unappealing pop ballad that gets way too much radio time. Somehow, all of this ties together far better than in most movies that the film is spoofing. That said, the movie does well imitating those earlier movies and their many faults. Scenes and events occur with no logical story flow. Characters will stand around while things happen around them and get killed in the process. Developments are written into the script because somebody felt like it, and of course there's the part where there are living tomatoes flying around almost every scene, as if we're supposed to take any of it seriously as a threat. However, as is made clear from the very first scene, there's no need to take anything that's happening with any amount of weight. It's all tongue-in-cheek and aware of its own concept, playing things as straight as necessary to keep the very loose story moving along, then filling up the rest of the time with sight gags, ironic dialogue, plain old jokes, and a good amount of pure nonsense. This is a movie that stops itself to have a musical break, delve into social commentary a bit, and then go back to tossing tomatoes around or making crude humor. It's all inconsistent, but it rolls with it, as if everything we see was made up as production went along, and most of what we get is in fact improvised. There are credited writers though, so it can't be that. Anyways, the point is that the movie knows that it's silly and sticks to it, even if it means that, as a story, it loses its strength whenever it rolls with a non sequitur or some other distraction. It seems more that the filmmakers had the idea of mimicking its inspirations more than making something new and improved out of those old movies. In a similar vein, the film's technical aspects are just as low budget as older B-movies, though perhaps smarter with the money that it did have on hand. For one, pretty much every location is a pre-existing area. There may be one or two obvious set pieces, but anything larger than a single room is clearly a borrowed space. It does make for some unusual but entertaining locations, seemingly because they had an opportunity to shoot there. Anyways, either because it would be in line with older B-movies, or because they didn't have any fancy equipment, cinematography is generally limited to flat angles and point-of-view shots, though again, this movie isn't very concerned with how it looks. Editing is given a bit more attention than anything else, or at least it stands out more whenever the movie has a few new jokes or montages to make, with one in particular being a highlight of editing and timing. It's not often that something like that occurs though, but it's certainly welcomed. Overall, I'd say that while the point of the production is to get people laughing, there are still a number of downsides which may not drag it down entirely, but are certainly noticeable. Even so, the fact that the movie wants to play into them without simply pointing them out does show a sense of honesty and fun, or something along those lines. It's just a spoof movie at the end of the day, you know? Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, John Bello, 1978. 4 stars. I'd recommend giving it a watch. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Funny enough, I don't have any questions about this movie. Not even about how it got a sequel or two. And a cartoon series. And maybe a video game. I mean, it seems like there would have been a video game, right?